Hello everybody and welcome to today's Q&A on the January ad rate drop. So what I've done is I've put some slides together which I'll take you through today. I will keep an eye out for any questions that you've got coming in. So whether you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube, please do put your questions in the comments box. As soon as I can, I'll head over to there and answer the questions that you've got coming in. Today is focused on the questions and also the answers as well, obviously, that I'm able to take you through. But I wanted to first of all give you some background and information on what's going to happen in January, because if you haven't experienced a January ad rate drop before, it can feel quite scary to see your revenue dropping off, and I wanted to make sure that you had all the information that you needed to understand what's happening, but also so that you could understand how to use this change of seasonality to make your business grow and to set you up for success in 2023. So the last normal year we had in terms of ad rates was 2018. So what you can see here is if we focus on Q4, that there's the Black Friday spike in ad rates, which we expect, and then the ad rates stay reasonably high throughout December and then start dropping off towards the end of the year. And then at the start of January, the ad rates drop right off. And the reason for this is that advertisers are aware that consumers have spent up over the Christmas period and that they're focusing on paying their bills. And so advertisers don't put money into advertising. They wait until consumers are ready to spend their money. What happens with advertising is that they review where they've spent their money and the results that they've got out of that at the start of each month, the start of each quarter, and the start of each year, and they look back over the previous period. So you can always expect to see a slight drop off at the start of each month, the start of each quarter, and then obviously a bigger drop off at the start of each year as the advertisers are going through this process of looking at where they've spent the money, where the results are, and what they then want to do to achieve their goals in the next period following that. Now, 2020 was not a normal year in terms of ad rates or life. Due to COVID that came to Europe and then the US in spring time of 2020. You can see in the ad revenue index here, the year of 2020 started quite normally, and then from mid-March onwards, the ad rate slid right down, and that was because of the impact of COVID and the restrictions that were placed on everybody's lives. Goods couldn't be moved around globally, and consumers weren't spending the money quite the same because they were on restrictions to be at home. Shops and businesses were all closed. That led to a pent-up demand in terms of consumers had money to spend and wanted to get out and about again when the restrictions were lifted. So you can see in Q2 how the ad rates climbed quite steeply once that initial dip happened. Q3 remains reasonably high. There's periods of 3 weeks of spikes and then drop-offs, and that's because of the lockdowns that happened globally. And then also you can see in Q4 as well, where lockdowns have happened at the start of Q4, and so the ad spend has dropped off. But also in terms of 2020, the pent-up demand that was there means that the last part of the year, the ad rates were higher and for longer than they are traditionally. Now, 2022, again, is not a normal year, unfortunately. We've had a lot going on globally this year, and that has impacted the ad rates. If you look at the year as a whole, it looks fairly flat overall. You can hardly trend. You can hardly see one quarter from another or one trend from another. It's all sort of fairly similar. There is a drop off over summer that kind of sticks out a bit more than everything else, and a small peak of ad rates over Black Friday, but has been fairly flat overall. Now, normally what we would do as part of these webinars of the January ad rate drop is we would talk about our expectations of what's going to happen in the next year. If we look at the three slides previously and the 3 different years that we've been through, we can see that it's going to be really, really hard to predict what's going to happen in 2023. That makes it obviously difficult for yourselves to know what's normal and what's not in terms of what you're seeing on your websites, but also for yourselves in terms of how you're going to plan your content and your business plan for the year ahead. So if we look at the different things that could impact the ad rates, you've got things like cost of living, travel, fuel crisis, unemployment, inflation, wider purchasing habits, seasonality, and digital usage as well. Now, what's important to remember is that the advertising on digital spaces can be switched off quite quickly. Advertisers are used to reviewing the data because it is very much data driven, digital advertising, seeing where they've had successes around their ad spend and where they're not quite meeting their quotas, and are able to be quite flexible and dynamic in terms of how they then change their projects and the work that they're doing to be able to fulfill their quotas and their business goals. This can mean, and what we've seen on the previous years, is that digital advertising spend can get switched off quite quickly because of the dynamic nature of it, but it can also be switched on quite quickly as well, and so can sometimes be the first advertising that bounces back. What we're also seeing in terms of digital usage because of COVID is that the way people are using the internet has changed. There are some countries who have seen a big upswing in terms of the digital uptake of different devices or using the internet in a different way because of COVID. People have had no other choice, but also of different demographics as well. So different demographics that may have in the past not really used digital shopping very much and now ingrained in terms of using that digital shopping. And so it's going to be harder for bricks and mortar stores to be able to draw those shoppers back to them, when online the readers can compare prices quite quickly. They can do research, and advertisers can also then see this through cookies and then be able to retarget those advertisements as well and draw people back to their website. So there is a lot of positivity for publishers around that. And also it's important to remember that some sites do follow the yearly trend and can be quite in line with the ad revenue index. And then also educational sites, as an example, they don't follow the ad rates quite the same. They follow the school year, where they see large spikes in September when students return and big drop-offs over the summer and then over the Christmas period when the main holidays are. We can also see some sites that have specific dates in which their content becomes more valuable. So this is a screen grab of a site that has a big spike in their revenue around end of December, beginning of January. So for them, when everybody else is kind of tailoring off in terms of their revenue, they are growing their revenue because of an increase in traffic, increase in ePMV because of the content that they then have. So how do you best find your seasonality for your site? So the answer lies within Big Data Analytics, and you can find Big Data Analytics on your Ezoic dashboard. It's under this button here. And the helpful reports you can check out are the landing pages. So which pages are getting traffic and has it changed? Location, so do certain countries see traffic fluctuations at different points, and which has the highest percentage of change? And traffic sources as well. So what you may find is that your marketing changes and that people are finding your site in the same way. If you've got premium, you'll have access to yield reporting, and you'll be able to see, is there a universal drop-off across ad partners, or whether the impressions have changed as well. So resources that can help with analysing seasonal changes are the Ad Revenue Index. That's definitely a big one to keep an eye on. Also, take a look at our support article, which is about troubleshooting EPMV changes, and the 5 reports in Big Data Analytics that can help you understand your readers better. So now that you know how to find the data about the seasonality of your site, what can you do to help your business grow? So the first thing you can do is look at your EPMV and making the most out of your EPMV that you can get for your site. What you want to make sure is that you're not leaving any revenue on the table through not having certain things set up in your Ezoic dashboard, or by having certain restrictions in place that's going to have an impact on your EPMV. So there's a community article which is titled "How Can I Increase My EPMV?" that walks you through a step-by-step guide to understand EPMV and the different steps you can take to then increase that EPMV as well. Also, alongside that, focus on building traffic to your site. And that in part is based on the content of your website, but also the marketing plans as well. Because what's important to remember is that the revenue is based on the EPMV of your site, but also the volume of traffic that you're getting to your site as well. And when you can't do much about ad rates and you can only sort of make the most of the EPMV that you can get for that current time period, there's lots you can do in terms of building content or marketing your site to help your traffic build, and then perhaps you can achieve your revenue goals through that way, even if you're not quite achieving your EPMV goals. How you can do this is use Ezoic's free tools. So make sure that you're using Flickerfy. If you're on premium, you've got 100 videos a month. If you're not, you've got 5 videos a month that you can create. Make sure you're using Humix, both grow and share. So what happens with Flickerfy is when you create the videos, they are automatically added to the URL that you've created the video from, and then automatically placed in Humix. If you've got the grow and share function switched on, those videos are then automatically added to the wider Ezoic video network through the grow button. And then other publishers who have got the share button switched on, they can then have your videos on their site. You get a percentage of the revenue, so does the other publisher. So this way you're making money without driving traffic to your website, and it's all done automatically once you switch those buttons on and once you create that video through Flickerfy. So it doesn't have too much of a bigger impact in terms of the things that you've got to do, but can have a big impact in terms of the revenue that's generating. It's also important to remember that reportedly Google likes to see sites with a multimedia aspect. So by creating the videos through Flickerfy, you're having your own videos on your website and giving that nod to Google, but also through the share function, when you haven't got a video for that particular page, you're able to put a video on your website that Google can then see, and that again helps with that multimedia aspect to your website. Do remember to use Niche IQ as well. Make sure you've got your Google Search Console authorized. That way we've got more data that we can then work with. With Niche IQ, do check out the topics. So it may take a bit of time for the topics to generate. And that's just because we're collecting the data. And once we've got enough data, we can then give you that information through Niche IQ topics. Those keywords are evergreen keywords that we can see are linked to your website and your content. You can train the system. So if you've already written about that topic, you can let the system know. Or if it's not relevant, again, you can let the system know so that it can grow with the understanding of your website. You can also complete an SEO audit on your site. This is a really good way to make sure that your website is positioned as highly as you can for your domain authority within Google, because the higher you are within Google and the more accurate your titles are, the more likely you are to get traffic to your website. And then also work on your core web vitals as well. So there's an article there in community that I've shared that can help you to do that. So what I'd also recommend doing this year is to keep track of big events with the annotations tool. Again, you can find that in Big Data Analytics. You can track changes that you make to your site design, world events, changes in marketing campaigns, algorithm updates, and also any updates you've made to disable ads by page or excluded pages app. This way you can see what impact the changes either globally or locally to your site are having on your ePMV, and then adjust your business plans around that. So thank you so much for listening. I hope that helps. Please do let me know any questions that you've got. I'd be delighted to help you today. We've got up until past, so I'll do my best to answer as many questions as I can before that time. And I've put a copy of this webinar into community under live learning with Heather, your Publisher Success Manager thread. So in this one here, so that you can watch it back afterwards. And also you can put any questions that you would like in here as well. I'll keep an eye on this thread and answer those questions for you just as soon as I can. Okay, so let's go to your questions. So Happy Kid has said, website is demonetized after removing AdSense from the site. So I think what's happened here, Happy Kid, is you've joined Ezoic, and then now you're not seeing AdSense revenue coming through. Is that right? So I'll just wait for Happy Kid's response and then go back to that one. So Happy Kid, please do let me know. I'd be happy to answer that one for you. Annex has said, very helpful. Thanks, Heather. You're so welcome, Annex. Thank you for joining me today. I'm glad it helps. Oh, so Happy Kid has clarified. Thank you, Happy Kid. Happy Kid has said, no, Ezoic has stopped monetizing my website. Okay, so what I would suggest with that one, Happy Kid, is head over to community. Let us know in the community thread that that's happened, and we can take a look at that for you. That helps keep your domain secure, because we can see that you've logged in, and then as admins, we can go in and take a look at that for you and see what's happening there. If we've stopped monetizing your website, it might be that the platform quality team has found a policy violation and has had to pause testing. If they have, they'll have sent you out an email, so it's worth just checking your emails just to see if one's come through. And what's also worth just double checking is that you haven't made any changes to your site. So check that your site's still integrated, check that Ad Tester is still switched on, and you haven't added any restrictions in over the last couple of days. That might help to solve the problem for you. But do head over to community, let us know you're experiencing that, and we can dig into your site specifically, see what's going on, and get you the answers that you're looking for. Okay, so I'll just give it another couple of minutes just to see if any more questions do come in, and then I'll be happy to answer them, or we can close this session for today. So just while I've got you all, just to let you know, I'll be working all next week, so you'll see me around in community, and there's our normal Wednesday session together. I am on holiday over the Christmas period, so from the Saturday, which is Christmas Eve, right the way through to the 3rd of January, because it's bank holiday here in the UK on the 2nd of January. I am working for a couple of hours on the Wednesday and the Friday over the Christmas period, so I will keep an eye out for your questions in the threads that I've got going. But outside of this time, please do bear with me, because I won't be logging on outside of that time period. The support team are there for you though, and so the if you do have any technical questions or issues, the community will be looked after by our support team on both the UK and the US side. The only 2 days when this isn't happening is on Christmas Day, because that's a Sunday, and the community isn't looked after on Saturdays or Sundays, and then also on the Boxing Day, which is the Monday because of the holidays that we have going on there. But outside of the times, that is looked after by our support team. Okay, so we've got a couple of questions coming in. So Happy Kid has said, why is mediation compulsory? It's not compulsory. You don't have to have mediation on your site. We do recommend it, and the reason for that is that mediation helps you to see that you're not leaving any revenue on the table. So the way mediation works is that Google AdSense is an ad provider with Ezoic. And so when the page loads and we know what readers coming to that particular page, the ad auction starts, and Google AdSense can outbid itself through that mediation process. And now I think it's 1,500 plus ad providers that Ezoic works with. Google AdSense can outbid all of them and itself to place an ad on your website through mediation. The times that they do this is when they see a particular niche of traffic that's coming to your website that's really hard to find, and they will at times outbid themselves and everyone else to put ads on your site. As far as I'm aware, and I could be wrong, but as far as I'm aware, we're the only ad provider that does this and has this functionality, so that you can be reassured you aren't leaving any revenue on the table. So it's not compulsory, but it's definitely recommended. I don't know if you saw, I think it was last week, there was a problem globally with Google's Ad Manager. It was a problem on Google's end, not with any other provider, and a lot of the ads stopped showing because Google Ad Manager wasn't functioning. Ezoic's mediation app still continued, and so Google AdSense could place ads on publishers' websites through that, even though they couldn't place ads through the Google Ad Manager to place ads on the site. So we would recommend it for all those different reasons. But at the end of the day, as a publisher, if you have chosen not to put mediation on your site, then that's that's a choice that you've made. We won't force you to do it. The only thing that we ask when you use Ezoic is that your site is in good standing with Google and follows Google AdSense and Ezoic's content and traffic policies. The decisions that you make around that are based on what's right for you as a business. We're just here to advise you in terms of what you would like to achieve in terms of your business goals. So I hope that helps, Happy Kid. If you've got any more questions about that, do let us know. Alexander has said, any Christmas bonus for us, Heather? I don't have a Christmas bonus for you, Alexander. I'm so sorry. I should have thought, shouldn't I, and put together a little Christmas gift for you all for today in digital form. So I'll see what I can do for you, Alexander. If I can think of something, and if I can work with our teams to get a Christmas bonus gift for you that can be done digitally, I'll certainly try. So good suggestion. Leave that one with me, and I'll see what I can do. So Annex has said, I have several sites with Ezoic and they are created the same way, same template, plugin, structures, etc. But one of them passes all speed test green, the rest not. Should I create a ticket? Okay, Annex. So that's really interesting. So first of all, what I would recommend doing, bear with me, let me get my correct slide up. It's this one here. And this URL. So head to community and look for the, I think it's pinned right at the top. It's an article on how do I get my Core Web Vitals to green. It talks you through a step-by-step process to check that you've got everything set up as best you can to get your Core Web Vitals to green. So there's things like making sure you've got your charity ads switched on. They can have a big impact on your Core Web Vitals scores. So have those switched on. Make sure you've got your caching set up as well, and that you've got the CDN manager set up as well. Again, they can have really big impact on the Core Web Vitals scores. If you find you haven't got all that set up, what I would recommend doing is get it set up, wait for 2 weeks, and then see what direction your Core Web Vitals are heading in. The Core Web Vitals on your dashboard are based on the last 28 days. And so it can take up to 28 days to see the full changes coming through. But what you can see on the little, it's hard to describe. I call it like a wiggly line. There's like a wiggly line in your Ezoic dashboard, which is showing the day-by-day changes of your Core Web Vitals. And what you want to be seeing is after those 2 weeks is that your Core Web Vitals are trending upwards. You may find that the overall score isn't quite where you want it to be, but if that line's trending upwards, then you might want to wait another couple of weeks to kind of see where you're heading at. If after that time, after the 2 weeks, say your Core Web Vital line is still flat or worse, trending downwards, then do open a ticket up. Or if after the 28 days, you've done everything, you've waited the 2 weeks to see what impact it has, and you haven't been able to get your Core Web Vitals to green, then yes, please do open up a ticket with our Leap team. They're specially trained and they've got special tools to be able to take a look at your site, analyze what's going on, and then make suggestions. The article that I've mentioned there, How Do I Get My Core Web Vitals to Green, talks you through how to connect directly in with the Leap team and how to do that. Where possible, please do work through each step of that article first and get your caching and everything set up, and the charity ads, things like that. Remove as many of the plugins as you can, because that then helps our teams to be able to go to the next steps that I can't help you with, that are very technical and kind of based on the functionality, the way your website is working and operating in there. So do bear with the Leap team. The work that they do is very detailed, and so it can take a few extra days to respond to a ticket that you submit. But if you are having issues, if you haven't been able to fix it with that article, then please, do reach out to our Leap team. That's what they're here for. They really want to help you get those Core Web Vitals to green. And if they can't get you to green, what they'll do is be able to explain why that's happening and what the steps are to take. And sometimes you might find that it's a balance between getting your Core Web Vitals to green, but then also what's happening on your site. You may feel that actually you've got a plugin or some functionality happening that's integral to your business, and then it's a trade-off between what's integral to your business and getting a green speed test score. So I hope that helps. Do let me know if you've got any more questions. So Happy Kid has said, when is Ezoic sending us t-shirts? Happy Kid, yes, I know everybody loves the t-shirts, and I think there might have been baseball caps as well that went out. I'm not sure about that one, but certainly I've seen wonderful pictures of publishers wearing t-shirts while working on their site, which is wonderful for us to see that how positive everybody has loved those. I don't know when the next lot of t-shirts are coming out. I'm not made aware of that, I'm afraid. I know marketing do send t-shirts out very occasionally. There was a period this year, I think, wasn't there, when quite a few different things went out to publishers. I'm not sure when that's happening next. Alexander has said smile. Thank you, Alexander. Yeah, it was a good question you asked, that one, and I really appreciated it because it's given me a really great idea. So let me see what I can do for you all. So Happy Kid, has said, because we were asked of our shirt sizes. Yes, that's right. So I think when you first log on, isn't there was a pop-up that appeared that asked for t-shirt sizes, and also asked whether you would like to have things sent out, because obviously I totally understand not everybody wants to have things sent out to them for various different reasons, and that's absolutely fine. And we want to make sure we accommodate everybody's preferences. With the information that you've entered there in terms of shirt sizes, it will be stored, so the next time the t-shirts are being sent out, the marketing team will be able to refer back to that and get the right one sent out to you. Annex has said, thanks, Heather. I've done those things. So I reach out to my premium manager just to see if she has any assistance too. You are great. Thank you. No problem at all. Annex, you're so welcome. Yes, if you've got a premium manager, that's a good point. Yeah, you can reach out to them directly as well and be able to see what advice and suggestions they have. You're so welcome. I'm really glad that helps. So Happy Kid has said, looking forward to resubmit my website for review. My content is 100% genuine, but I think for some reason I was told my content was scraped. Okay, Happy Kid. So if you've been told your content was scraped, that might be the reason why your website isn't earning. What I would recommend doing, if you're like Annex and have got a premium manager, reach out directly to them. They'll be able to give you tailored advice to your website. If not, head over to community and we'll be able to take a look at your site and be able to offer you advice from there. So No Aim, No Shame has said, hello there. Is the Ezoic affiliate still working? I can't log in for months. Yes, absolutely. The Ezoic affiliates are still working. It's still very much a part of our business. It's something that we really enjoy doing because it enables publishers to be able to make additional revenue and also to be able to talk about their real life experiences with Ezoic. And that's really important for other publishers to understand so that they can then make informed choices. If you haven't been able to log in for months, no aim, no shame. If you're a Access Now publisher, head over to community, let us know, and I can then take a look at your site, or one of the support team and community managers on community can take a look at that for you. If you're a level 1 publisher or higher, then do create a ticket, and that will go to the publisher success team, and they'll be able to work directly with the affiliate team and see what's going on there. What I would recommend that you do, just as a couple of troubleshooting steps, is to make sure you're using Chrome, and then also to remove any ad blockers you may have installed. Clear your cache and cookies, and then just give it another try just in case. With ad blockers, they can have a big impact on different websites. So with Ezoic, if anything isn't quite working right, it's a bit like sort of switching it off and switching it on again in terms of a troubleshooting step. So bear with me on this one, but it sometimes does work. Remove any ad blockers, clear your cache and cookies, and sometimes just by doing that, the Ezoic functionality can work again. So No Aim, No Shame has said, okay, we'll do that. Thank you. No problem at all. You're so welcome. So thank you everybody so much for joining me today. I've really appreciated your time, and I hope you found this useful, and I look forward to catching up with you again next Wednesday. Have a really great week, everybody. Take care. Bye for now.